were added to today's recess meeting agenda, sponsored by Vice Chair Arrington. 20-0446, request approval of a resolution urging Fulton County law enforcement partners to reinforce and enact additional policies limiting all personnel from employing a neck restraint or chokehold to restrain people being taken into or in police custody.
Motion.
Commissioner Arrington?
Second.
All right, properly moved and seconded. You want to add anything?
Anybody that is, living right now sees what's going on. It should be self-explanatory. I would hope that we would get unanimous approval of all of these three resolutions. I know Commissioner joined in and sponsoring, and Commissioner Hall, that's fine, and Commissioner Ellis. We all saw George Floyd lose his life. It shouldn't happen. We saw Rashard Brooks lose his life. It shouldn't happen. He was asleep at a drive-thru. At best, he should be in jail for DUI. At best, he should be in jail for DUI. He should not be dead. We should not use deadly force, particularly with people who have committed misdemeanors or maybe haven't even committed any crime. So, God bless you if you vote against these.
All right, Vice Chair, I'm going to ask you a quick question. It reads, I'm assuming it would apply to the unincorporated area in the county.
And
But-
yes, in the
But
unincorporated area.
urging all other departments within the county to do the same. Is that correct?
Yes, and all cities
Got it.
within the county to do the same.
I understand. Let's vote. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Houseman.
I just didn't know if the police chief might have any comments on any of these. If he doesn't, fine, but just give him the opportunity.
Commissioner, again, Darrell Halbert, Chief of Police. Relative to this particular item, our policy already prohibits the use of chokeholds, so I can support that. As the Commissioner indicated, there's no need for that in this day and age. There are other methods that we can train on or that we actually use and other devices that we actually use to control an individual. So.
The other two resolutions.
The other one, the final one, I'm not that familiar with. I haven't read all three of the resolutions, so.
The second one is duty to report excessive force by another officer. The third one is shoot to kill, and we can get to that one when we want to, but, police officers are trained to shoot to kill. If you care anything about black people not being killed, then you will vote for that. There's no.
Okay, let's separate them, take them one at a time. But the one that's before us now, we have a motion to approve. Let's cast your vote, please.
And the vote is open. And the motion passes unanimously.
All right, next item.
20-0447, request approval of a resolution urging Fulton County law enforcement partners to reinforce and enact additional policies limiting all personnel from employing deadly force to only those circumstances where a threat of death or serious physical injury to the officer or others is imminent and for other purposes.
Vice Chair?
This is the one, again, police officers are trained to shoot to kill. If you care anything about police officers not killing black people, then you will support this.
Move approval.
There's no reason to shoot to kill because somebody might be DUI. There's no reason to shoot to kill because somebody may have stole some candy from a store. And so what this does is allow it in certain limited circumstances.
All right, motion is to approve. Let's vote. I'm sorry.
Chairman?
Commissioner Morris?
Since the chief is up here, there's one resolve clause which reads that the Board of Commissioners urges that the use of deadly force be limited to only those situations where a suspect has committed or is in the process of committing a felony involving the infliction or threatened infliction of serious physical injury or death, and the escape of the suspect would pose an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or to another person unless the suspect is apprehended without delay, and the officer has given a verbal warning to the suspect if time, safety, and circumstances permit. Is that consistent with your current policy?
Could you read that first part again, Commissioner? I didn't hear that part about the,
Yeah, well, actually, if you want to read it. My first father-in-law was a career police officer and a great guy. And, you know, his daughter, whom I married, always wondered whether he was going to come home every night at the end of his day. So it's a tough job, and they need to do it with training and with compassion and all the things this country's been talking about over the last few weeks. But I want to make sure that this is consistent with.
it's consistent with our policy, and it also appears to be consistent with state law, 17420, in terms of when,
Those are the only circumstances.
for the use of deadly force.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, thank you.
I'm glad it's consistent, but right now it's about reforming the policies, the systemic policies that have resulted in a systemic termination of the lives of black people. And so even if it were not consistent, it's time for reforming those policies.
All right, is there a motion?
Yes, we have a motion.
All right, let's vote. Let's vote, please.
And the vote is open. And the motion passes unanimously. 20-0448, request approval of a resolution urging Fulton County law enforcement partners to reinforce and enact additional policies requiring all personnel to report incidents of potential officer and employee misconduct and for other purposes.
Move approval.
Vice,
Second.
explain that one right quick.
This is if someone sees an officer holding his knee on a person's neck.
Another officer?
Another officer.
Anybody? Or just
Another officer.
Another officer.
I believe it says officer or employee. But basically, the intent is to report misconduct or use of excessive force.
Commissioner Hall?
I just want to go back to the previous item because we forgot to add the sponsorships. I know Commissioner Carn and I asked to co-sponsor all three.
Yes, and I think Commissioner Ellis did as well. Have no
On all three. So this one as well. And that's all. I just want to make sure we're on there. Thank you.
So noted.
Cast your vote, please.
Mr. Chairman, before the vote is taken, there is a typo that we need to just correct. We need to insert the word urges, and we have that in the final version. It's urges. We can't
So
direct
noted.
the sheriff.
So noted.
Thank
Let's vote.
And the vote is open. And the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, colleague.
One quick question for the chief before he left. In terms of your training facility, you have a specific budget for training, correct?
it's included within the departmental budget, correct?
Okay. I guess my question is, and I know we're gonna have soundings or whatever, I would hope that you maybe look at the next sounding when it comes up to increase that for reasons which I think are obvious. And I would imagine whatever you got in that particular budget line item probably isn't enough, especially considering some of these additional things that I think may be coming down from the federal and from the state level possibly. So I want to make sure you have that on your radar and up that funding. I know I certainly would support it. So
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.